Good morning, Loz. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's Friday. How good is that?
It is so good. I'm so happy for the weekend. I'm just happy for the week, which is weird because we've had long weekends and stuff. I feel like I should be more like, like short weeks should be more, better, but it's not.
We've got picnic day coming up in a few weeks too. I'm so excited about that.
4th of August. I actually was talking to Mr. Loz about this the other day because I was like, do you know what picnic day is? And anyway, do you know what picnic day is?
It's about is it the Labor Day 38-hour week and stuff, isn't it? Unions celebrating it or something?
Similar.
Yeah.
It is. The reason it's specific to the NT.
That's Bangtail Mustard Day I'm thinking of too, aren't I?
Well, the reason Picnic Day is specific to the NT is because back, I don't know, don't ask me the year, I don't know the year, but when the railway line, the Ghan railway line was being constructed.
Which, the first one?
I don't know.
Because it used to go just to Alice.
Okay, so it would have been... Yes, the first, because it was when it was coming from down south.
Yep.
So depending on which way they built it.
Well, in fact, that was the second one. Let's get to not too nerdy. There was one, a very narrow gauge one that...
okay, beside the point.
Part of that's still running.
Beside the point. So Picnic Day is that when all the families down south, obviously when their husbands would go off to build the railway, they'd be gone for, we didn't have technology or anything then, so they would be gone for months and months and months with no communication.
Of course.
So there was this one weekend that all the companies would get all the workers' families on the train, and it would go as far as it had been built, and then they would get off the train and have picnics on the side of the railway to see their loved ones.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's why it was Picnic Day.
So let's catch a train.
Yep.
Well, probably not. Because it's really expensive.
It's way too expensive.
I love it when you talk to people from, maybe overseas or whatever, they go, planes are expensive, so let's catch the train. And I go, really? Because you don't know what the train costs. It costs a fortune.
The thing is, the train is only expensive here.
Yeah.
It's not expensive everywhere else. If you're down in Victoria, I used to get the train, I used to get the V line and stuff all the time.
If you went Melbourne to Sydney, though, by train, I think it would be about the same as flying, I reckon. Only
because Melbourne to Sydney flights are so cheap.
Yeah.
I used to go all the time up to Corowa, Albury area, from Melbourne on the V line. It was $13.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, when I used to go Melbourne to Bendigo, I lived in Bendigo when I was working the radio there, and I reckon it was costing me about $80 return.
That's insane. In saying that, when I was
I think it's cheaper now. They've got on the actual metro tickets now to go into Bendigo.
Yeah. And in saying that too, when I was getting the train all the time up to Corowa and stuff like that, I was a concession card holder.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that made, such a big difference.
No, it would.
But
it makes a lot of difference,
I was when I was in high school, because obviously I wasn't driving, and so I was going up to the farm and stuff.
Yeah.
And Mum would chuck us on the train because it was just way easier.
Well, that makes sense, because if you're going to Albury, and that would have been about $26 each way for an adult back then.
Yeah.
And I was in Bendigo in about 2008, 2009, and it was costing around, I think it was $70, $80 return.
Yeah.
Which was okay, because we worked it out with petrol. It was probably more to drive.
Isn't it crazy that I don't know what it's really like now? A couple of times when I've seen, where there's been an event, I've seen this. It has been a discount, but not crazy. But when I was a teenager, a concession discount was huge. Going to the movies and being a concession card holder. It was 50% off if you were a senior.
I dreaded
or
it.
Concession card holder.
Getting to the wrong age. I remember when I was a young person too, on the tram, it was 35-cent tickets to go to school and things like that.
And then now,
it's only 3 stops or something.
Yeah, and even though people still have concession and senior discounts now, I don't feel like they're as full on.
Oh, I think they would be.
I don't think not at the movies and stuff.
But transport,
transport maybe. I don't know. I've lived here too long to know transport prices. But I know when I've gone down to Melbourne and stuff, the movie tickets and things like that. You see the prices up on the board, and it's oh, okay, cool. You save $5 being a concession. That's still great that you save $5, but it's not an insane amount of savings. When I was a kid, it was $7.50 if you're a concession card holder, and $16 if you were an adult.
Absolutely. I still think movies are definitely cheaper for concession card holders, but not as great. For a while there, they were experimenting with everyone pays the same price on a Tuesday, for example, the half price Tuesday.
Yeah.
They didn't even give you a better deal if you were a younger one. But look, we were talking movies. We were talking off air about DVDs.
Yes, well, we were talking about the dying art forms, magazines, DVDs.
Because we're looking for... Oh, don't talk about us. We're looking for a business of the week, and Justin here seemed to think that one of the local local news agencies was listening to us.
Which, of course, then evolved in us talking about what's he doing at a news agency, getting magazines. I miss magazines.
And we said, it's Justin, because he's a bit like, old school.
Justin's
old school.
I prefer a magazine, I've got to say.
It's tactile, isn't it? It's
Yep.
in your hands, a bit of the ink on your hands.
I absolutely love a good magazine. I actually used to still buy them all the time up until they stopped selling Cosmopolitan Australia.
Yeah, right.
And I thought the whole magazine had finished, or
But it went online, didn't it?
Well, yes, but more so because Cosmopolitan has Cosmopolitan normal, just Cosmopolitan, then Cosmopolitan Australia. It's in 35 countries.
Yeah.
There's 35 different Cosmos for 35 different countries.
And there was Clio as well, remember?
Yeah, and Cosmo had stopped here. But while we were talking about this, I was like, well, I need to look this up because I haven't been able to find it in years. And I Googled it, and you know how AI...
tell me what it is.
Well, AI was like, is Cosmo Australia back? And it said that Cosmopolitan magazine has made its Australian return, landing on newsstands August 12, 2024. So apparently it's been back in Australia for pushing a year, but I still haven't seen it in Alice anywhere.
Well, you probably haven't looked.
Well, true.
Yeah.
And when I do think about it and have a quick scan, 9 times out of 10, I'm not standing in a news agency. I'm at a Coles checkout or something. I'm not somewhere where they would for sure have everything.
Look, it's very interesting for me. We used to subscribe to them all, magazines, because just before they kind of went into that danger zone, they knew they were in trouble. So you could get with ACP, I think was the company, Consolidated Press, and so they had all of their titles were available to subscribe, and it worked out to be $1 a magazine if you booked them for 12 months or whatever. So we got all these subscriptions back. This was in the late noughties. We had all the subscriptions to them, and it was great. We had boxes full of them in the end, and we read them all and enjoyed them. But then we got rid of them, of course.
And you were saying
collectible now, those.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were saying that apparently now DVDs making a comeback.
I don't understand it because I had the chat with the family.
I don't feel like they're old enough to be making a comeback, but sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so, but I had the chat with the family while I was in Melbourne. I said, we've got 2,000 DVDs. So we've got 3 giant bookshelves, sky high, roof high, right? And I said to the kids, DVDs. You guys watch all the streaming services. We pay for all of that. Why would you never touch these things. They're gathering dust. What do you want to do? Do you want to get rid of them? No, the kids said no. Now I thought, because they're probably worth $1 each or something. Like if you sell them online, I've seen collections going for $3,000. You get a couple of hundred, maybe 1,000 for $3,000 or something like that. And the kids said no. Anyway, I've seen online recently that, because we all know about the revival of cassettes of all things and vinyl, but people are now saying we want physical copies. Now,
physical media.
Yeah, now they'd probably want them pristine or whatever. But because if you go into, say, a JB Hi-Fi or somewhere like that now in Melbourne, there's hardly anything for sale in that. There's some vinyl again. There's a few CDs, a few DVDs, but not everything's getting released now to DVD. So it's actually they've become quite collectible for certain parts. And I'm thinking, why would anyone want to be buying DVDs now?
Do you know what? The only thing with DVDs that I'm not a fan of, especially in terms of it being a collector's item.
Yeah.
So when we had tapes, I can see that more so they're durable, being a collector's item.
Yeah.
But DVDs, one little scratch or speck of dust, and do you know what I mean? They weren't the most reliable.
They're pretty awful.
So if I wanted to collect something and I wanted that something to have value and I wanted to enjoy it, a tape or something, sure, you could, throw a tape at a wall and it wouldn't break. But I feel like DVDs were so fragile.
They were, and so were CDs to a point.
Yeah.
But I think it's not even about that. Like for me, if they're trying to collect it, it might be because they want to just put it on a shelf and have it as part of a collection. They probably don't necessarily want to play it all that often. They're not, that's what I'm sort of thinking. Like how many times can you watch a movie? Maybe they love it. Maybe they're core collectors. Maybe it's only certain DVDs that they want.
True.
Like vinyl, there's only certain vinyls that people want, and they have to be pristine. Like, if you've had it on the shelf and you've watched that Tom Hanks movie 100 times, or we said Happy Gilmore, for example, you've watched that 100 times, they don't want that one. They probably want some rare movie that was only released in one country and you've got it, and it, or it's absolutely in mint condition, the cover's perfect, and you never use the DVD at all. It's still in its plastic,
That's what I mean, though. I don't feel like DVDs are old enough to have people who have treated them like that. I feel like DVDs were like, cool, we don't have to have tapes anymore. And I feel like they weren't in for long enough. Do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't decades upon decades of people watching DVDs. We went from tapes to DVDs to streaming super quick in the grand scheme of things.
We did, but some of them are like there's box sets that you can't get anymore, like of series and those sort of things. We've got some amazing box sets. We've got all sorts of comedy and reality shows.
What's
and
your
all these
favourite like DVD that you reckon you watched like when you had a DVD and you just watch it over and over?
Well, I think I bought it here actually back when I was here the first time, and that is Almost Famous.
Really?
I love that show, Almost Famous. I don't mind Jerry Maguire either. I kind of like that over and over as well. But that's telling you what I like. That's anyway, music stuff. But look, we talked about magazines. There are a few good magazine TV series that came out, like with Asher Keddy and people like that in it. Remember back about 10 years ago, based around the time the magazine started here in Australia.
No.
Ita and playing Ita and people like that. Oh well, you've got to look.
No
those
idea
up.
what you're talking about.
No. But they were like what would you call them, mini-series? The ABC ran some mini-series and the Packer ones and all of that stuff around the time all these magazines came out back in the 70s or whenever it was. Anyway, we've got to get to the news. We'll talk about a cliffhanger will be, what are we doing on the weekend? That's all we can really do at this point in time. And I'll be back tomorrow from 6 to 10. You'll be here Sunday and you'll be here doing the requests very soon, and I'll come back and chat with you soon.
Sure.
It's news time.